Alright, so if you're getting into cybersecurity, you've probably heard the terms pen testing and red teaming thrown around. And honestly, a lot of people use them interchangeably. I see this all the time. People looking at job postings thinking, okay, they're basically the same thing, right? One's just maybe a bit more advanced. Wrong. They're actually testing completely different things. And if you're going into interviews or talking to people in the industry and you mix these up, it's going to be pretty obvious that you don't really understand what either one does. So in this video, I'm going to break down the key differences between pen testing and red teaming. And by the end, you are going to be able to explain these confidently to anyone, whether that's in a job interview, to a friend who's curious, or even a non-technical manager who needs to understand what the security team is actually doing. The big idea here is simple. Stop treating them as the same thing, because once you understand what makes them different, a lot of other stuff in cybersecurity starts to make way more sense. Let's dive in. So the first major difference is the objective. What are you actually trying to accomplish? With pen testing, the goal is to find vulnerabilities. That is it. You're going in and saying, here are all the holes in your system. Here's where you're weak. Here's what needs to be fixed. It's very technical, very focused on the what. What's broken? What can be exploited? What needs to be patched? Red teaming is completely different. The objective isn't to find every vulnerability. It's to test whether your security team can actually detect and respond to an attack. So you're not just asking, can we break in? You're asking, will anyone notice when we break in? And if they do notice, can they stop us? Here's a way to think about it. Pen testing is like a home inspector coming to your house and saying, hey, your lock is broken, your window doesn't close all the way, your back door is weak. They are giving you a list of problems. Red teaming is like hiring someone to actually try to break into your house while you are home, without telling you when, and then seeing if you notice. Do your alarms work? Does your dog bark? Do you wake up? Do you call the police? It's testing the entire system, not just the locks. And this is important because in the real world, attackers don't just find one vulnerability and then politely write you a report. They're trying to get in without being detected. They're trying to move through your network, steal data, and get out before anyone realizes what happened. So pen testing tells you where you are vulnerable. Red teaming tells you whether you'd actually catch a real attacker. Two totally different questions. And if you're in a job interview and someone asks you about the difference, this is where you start. You say, pen testing is about finding vulnerabilities. Red teaming is about testing detection and response. That alone shows you understand the fundamentals. Alright, second difference, scope. Pen testing is narrow and defined. You usually have a specific target. Maybe it's a web application, maybe it's a network segment, maybe it's a mobile app. And you have a time frame, usually 1 to 2 weeks. Everyone knows the test is happening. The client says, we want you to test this thing during this window, and here are the rules. Go. Red teaming is the opposite. Everything is in scope. The network, the physical building, the employees, social engineering, everything. And it's not 2 weeks. It's typically 6 to 8 weeks. It could also be months, sometimes 6 months or more. And the whole point is that most people in the organization don't know it's happening. You're trying to simulate a real adversary, and real adversaries don't announce themselves. So with pen testing, you might be told, test our web app, but don't touch production. Don't test social engineering. Don't go after the CEO's email. There are boundaries. With red teaming, there are no boundaries. If the goal is to get into the CEO's email, you do whatever it takes. You might send phishing emails. You might show up at the office with a fake badge. You might even go through their trash, if that's what it takes, because that's what a real attacker would do. Now, this doesn't mean red teaming is just better. It's not. It's just different. If you're a startup with a new web app, you don't need a 6-month red team engagement. You need someone to tell you if your app has SQL injection or broken authentication. Pen testing is perfect for that. But if you're a bank or a big corporation with a mature security team, and you want to know if your SOC team would actually catch an attacker, then red teaming makes sense. You're testing the whole program, not just one piece. So scope-wise, think of it like this. Pen testing is a defined box. Red teaming is everything outside the box and inside the box. Pen testing says, here's what you asked me to test. Red teaming says, here's what I could access if I wanted to. And this is another thing that comes up in interviews. If someone asks you, when would you use pen testing versus red teaming? You can say, it depends on the maturity of the organization and what they're trying to test. If they're trying to find vulnerabilities in a specific system, pen testing. If they're trying to test their entire security programming, red teaming. The third difference, the outcome. What do you get at the end? With pen testing, you get a technical report. It's usually pretty detailed. Here are the vulnerabilities we found. Here's how we exploited them. Here's the risk rating. And here's how to fix them. Very actionable, very technical. You hand it to your developers or your IT team and they start patching. Red teaming gives you something different. You get an assessment of your entire security program. Did your firewall logs catch the initial intrusion? Did your SIM alert anyone? Did the SOC team investigate? How long did it take? Did anyone escalate it? The report isn't just about vulnerabilities. It's about people, process, and technology. So a pentest report might say, we found 3 critical vulnerabilities in your web app. A red team report might say, we got into your network on day 2, moved laterally for 3 weeks, exfiltrated data on day 25, and nobody noticed until we told you. That's very different kind of feedback, and it's uncomfortable, but it's valuable because it shows where your security program actually breaks down in practice. And here's the thing, a lot of organizations will do a red team engagement and realize, oh, we have all the security tooling, but nobody actually monitors it. Or people are getting alerts, but ignoring them. Or the SOC team doesn't have a clear escalation process. Those are things a pen test wouldn't catch because a pen test isn't trying to evade detection. So outcome-wise, pen testing gives you a clear list of things to fix. Red teaming gives you a reality check on whether your security program actually works when it's tested. Alright, so let's bring it all together. Pen testing and red teaming are not the same thing. Pen testing is about finding vulnerabilities in a specific target over a short time frame. Red teaming is about testing your detection and response across your entire organization over a longer period of time. A simpler way to remember it, pen testing asks, can we break in? Red teaming asks, will you notice when we break in? And here's the thing, neither one is better. They're both valuable. It just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're early in your security journey, you probably need pen testing. If you're more mature and you want to test your defenses, you need red teaming. And if you're going into this field, understanding this difference is huge because it shows you're thinking beyond just hacking stuff and you understand the actual business value of these assessments. So the next time somebody asks you the difference, you'll know exactly what to say and you'll sound like you actually know what you're talking about because you do. If you found this helpful and you want to go deeper into building a career in cybersecurity, watch this video where I delve into the reality of becoming a successful red teamer in the field of cybersecurity. Perfect for aspiring security professionals aiming to master offensive security and adversary emulation. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I read all of them